Hello everyone. So today we're going to show you how you use Glide app. So for you to start with, I want you to go to Glide app. So glideapps.com, and here you can go to the open Glide. It will open a new tablet. You can log in using your Google account. So now when you start, you can create a team. So you go there, it's a new team, you create a team. For example, I want to start the app with Dr. Amal. So we created the team with Amal. So I want to create a new app or new project. So I'm gonna click here, new project, and then I'm gonna create a mobile or large screen. Let's start with mobile. So I'm gonna name it blood pressure and pulse mobile app, for example, version 1. And I'm going to continue. It's going to ask me, are you using Glide app or Google Sheet? Let's start with Glide app or tables. You can use Excel, you can use Airtable, but the concept will be the same. So I'm going to create a new project. Here we will have 3 sections of the screen. The first section in the middle, this is how the app will look like, or this is the layout, or the user will see this part of the screen. On the left side, these are the pages or navigation. It has 3 content or component here. These are pages, and you can see them here, 1, 2, 3. But it has menu, and the menu can have also more than 1 component. In this app, it's defaulted to user profile, so it's already, they have it. For the user, when they open the app, they can click on the 3 lines. This is the menu. When they click on it, it will give them the option here to look at the users or user information. So let's say I'm the user. I can look my information here. So to do that, you need to build the table for the user. So for now, we'll just work on this side in the middle and on the left side. And this is the layout. So here's the data where we store the data. So for example, we want to use different users. So we're gonna go to the data, and it has tables on the left side, table 1, table 2, table 3. The first table is things, categories, and the last one is the users. As we mentioned before, when you click on the users, you will have the username, the email, and the photo. You can add the role, or you can add the ID. So when you want to add anything, click on the plus sign here. It will add the ID. So if you go here, you will have row ID, which is the user's specific or unique ID. So I'm going to click done, and it will show up here. So this is the user ID for each user or patient or any one using the app. So you go to users, and then you make sure it has whatever information you want. In my case, I want to add the user ID. So you click on the plus sign and click on user ID. After you've done that, this is the users table. If you want to use and to add a new user, you can add new row, and it will give you the information for user number 2, and then user number 3, or patient number 1, patient number 2, patient number 3. This is in the database. The table here or the sheet is users table. When you go back, this is again the information from the first table, and this information from the second table. And the user profile here, we want to connect this to the user table. It's already recognized that we have a table on the right side. It is the information about the page here. So it's connected to the sheet or the data table, and it's called the users. So in the users, we have some information. We have the name, we have the email, we have the photo, we have the role. We can add more information in the table, and it will be listed here. We can use them. But for now, these are the basic information. And this is how the layout. So it's going to be in a container, and the container has the title name, the email, and the photo, and the role. All this listed here. You can modify any of these. So you can modify it to look like this, or modify it to look like this, or modify it to look like this. So, and you can change any of this information. But for now, let's use it like this. So I'm happy with that. This is the things, categories back of the office. So we can change this to match our tables we just created in Google Sheet. So instead of things, we can add blood pressure and information about the pulse and so forth. So to do that, I go to the data, and I'm going to create another table. So in that table, I'm going to just use a new table. And in that table, I want to use the ID. So if you click here, you can edit. So patient's ID or unique ID, and it's a text. Enter. And then I want to add the systolic blood pressure. It's going to be a number, and it's going to be 1 precision. So, and I'm going to click on the arrow to duplicate this instead of systolic, diastolic blood pressure. And I'm going to copy it once more to the pulse. So we have the systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, and pulse. And the only next thing is date and time when they collected this information, and can be any info. So we have the patient ID, the systolic, diastolic, pulse, and the time. I'm going to move the time here. So this is how you create the table, and you can click on it and name it, let's say, vitals. So patient number 1 ID will come here, their date and time, and then the systolic, diastolic. You can add this information manually. So I'm going to go user number 1, copy this and this here, paste it. And today is the date 5/14/23 at 2 p.m. So, and then systolic 150, systolic 80, and the pulse is 90, for example. So you can add this information manually, but we want the user to add them in their layout. So to do that, we're gonna go to the layout, and I'm gonna delete this. So to delete them, you can right click and delete, right click and delete. And the last one, I'm gonna just modify it instead of deleting it. So to do that, I'm gonna just delete this one, and I'm gonna use data grid or custom, and I'm gonna use vitals table. So it's gonna be from the vitals table where we just added the information. So for me, it's gonna be, instead of vitals collection, I'm gonna just add one by one the text. It's gonna be this referring to the systolic blood pressure, or maybe the time. And then I'm gonna just copy that and move to systolic blood pressure, and then copy that and go to the systolic blood pressure, then copy that and go to the pulse. So you see, we have the date, the systolic, diastolic, and pulse. But they are in 4 rows. I want them to be in 1 row, if possible. There is a way to do that, or we can add it as a table. So to do it in 1 line, we need a template. So I'm gonna go to data, and I'm gonna create a template. So go to plus, and then I'm gonna say it's a template, and we go down to template, and I'm gonna use this as systolic blood pressure and the systolic blood pressure, and then the pulse. So systolic, diastolic, and pulse. So for the first variable, it's gonna be here, and I'm gonna get it from the table. The second part will be here. I'm gonna get it from the table. Third part is gonna be here, and I'm gonna get it again from the table. And I'm gonna just put a column to divide them, or maybe so this one way to do it, but the best way is to put this into parallel shapes. So instead of, because sometimes you may get into trouble if you want to use just the word. I'm going to show you now. So if I want to say this is a blood pressure reading, so blood pressure, and then I want to say the pulse. See, we have the same word, pulse, pulse. So if I use only this number, it's going to be replaced with the number. I'm going to do it for you here. If I remove this, and I'm going to just use this. So here it's going to be 9090, but I don't want that. I want the pulse, the word, and then the number. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. This is the best way to do it. I'm going to go put some column here. I'm going to, you can remove this. So this is the template. For me, this is how you do it, and you can see it here. If you are happy with it, just click on done. And then in the layout, when I go here, instead of all this, I'm going to just delete the last 2. This one, I'm going to refer to the template. So I'm going to go to the template, and it's going to show me. So on this day, this is the information that the patient have. This is how you display the information. If you go back, instead of office, I'm gonna just put this as blood pressure and pulse readings. So it's gonna show here. And the page will be the same name. If you want to do one page for each, I'm gonna copy, duplicate this. I want to do only the blood pressure in one page readings. So I'm gonna go to the data and I'm gonna copy this template, duplicate, and I'm gonna use it as number 2, and I'm gonna remove the pulse. So it's gonna be only the readings for the blood pressure. And this is the template 2, where it has only the templates, the blood pressure only. So here, instead of going to template number 1, I'm gonna refer to template number 2. So it's gonna be only the blood pressure readings. So we have 2, if you notice, here the blood pressure and pulse page, and then here the page with the pulse and the blood pressure only readings. If you want to do the pulse only, so we're gonna duplicate this, and here we're gonna say pulse readings or heart rate. And then here, I'm gonna go to the data. I'm gonna copy the last template, duplicate it, and I'm gonna say this duplicate. So it's gonna only be the blood, the pulse. Now I'm gonna do this and the pulse. And delete this. So it's gonna read only the pulse here. When I go back to the layout in page 3, pulse reading, I'm gonna go, instead of template number 2, I'm gonna use template number 3. So it's gonna be only the pulse readings. If that makes sense for you guys. So we have 3 pages. One has all the information. Second page has only blood pressure. Third page has pulse. And it's gonna be an icon for each page down here. So this is how you build the blood pressure from the database, from the table, and the layout. So here we can build the first step of the blood pressure and pulse app.